Hello, welcome back for Unit 6 of our Modern World course here at Waldorf University. And as we kind of come into these last few weeks, I really want to encourage you to take a look ahead and see what we have coming kind of in the final few weeks of this course, what you're going to have to knock out to finish the course successfully, and kind of just get your bearings a little bit on kind of the home stretch here as we work through it. This week we're going to talk about our skill, which is historical significance. We'll talk briefly about the discussion board, and then we're going to talk about your Unit 6 essay, which is a little bit different than your standard essay. So as we get into this, our skill this week is going to be historical significance. And this is a skill that I think on the surface seems really easy, but takes practice and takes understanding and kind of compiling historical knowledge to actually do well. So the first thing to think about with historical significance is obviously the definition, how events are relevant and important to modern scholars. And in this course, we're all scholars, we're all working on our education, or working on your education in particular. And so as we think about this, at the most basic level, I think you could think about historical significance with big question words. So not just how it's relevant and important to modern scholars, but also why we're covering this in a course that takes a look at the entire world over the course of several centuries. So everything in this course has a historical significance. Another way to think about this is zooming out to kind of 10,000 feet. I was thinking about this as airplane view skill, and trying to get a real sense of the big picture. And that's where the difficulty lies with this skill. The idea that it's kind of easy to maybe draw the most basic conclusions as to why something's relevant and important to modern scholars. But in order to do this well, we have to link in our other skills and really see kind of the bigger picture in great clarity in order to understand this. So when I talk to students about this, both in the online and when we work on this in my residential courses, one of the things that we always kind of think about is linking things to today. How has this issue changed over time? So we look at our continuity and change skill. What people are really important in the skill? So we bring in historical agency. We can talk about progress and decline. We can talk about all of these different skills that we've been building on over the past few weeks to start to see this bigger picture. And it's also going to take linking to other course content. So maybe clicking into some of the other things we're talking about help you with historical significance as well. So over on the discussion board, you're going to practice this. Our discussion board question is, how did the era of new imperialism from 1750 to 1950 differ in motive, method, and philosophy from the first imperial age? You'll get a good sense of this in the textbook. But what I want you to do is ultimately make a value judgment that kind of is going to take you understanding both of these eras and then building on them to kind of form your own kind of analysis and opinions. And so I want you to talk about which era was more historically significant. So in your post, you should be talking about what each era was, showing me that you understand these two different eras and at the most basic level how you might define them. But then also making an argument about which was more historically significant. So as you do this, you want to bring in different types of evidence. That could be continuity and change-based evidence. It could be any of the political, economic, social, cultural things we've talked about, but make an argument about historical significance there. You also have your Unit 6 essay this week, which should be about 2 pages. Follow those APA guidelines. A lot of you have been doing a really good job with that. But you're going to talk about kind of colonial powers and their justifications for taking colonies in Asia and Africa. And you're going to do this kind of in a first-person way. So this is framed as a letter to the editor assignment. I want to make sure that we're just not kind of like spewing our opinions here. Make sure, as I've been encouraging many of you, think about the quantitative and qualitative evidence you can bring in to talk about imperialism. So you're going to choose a native culture from either Africa or Asia and talk about kind of imperialism from that point of view. So as you do this, comment on the rationale of the empire that's being given to the localized people. Talk about kind of how you feel about this imperial power. And I think about this in a variety of different ways. So one of the things, one of the countries that people often look at in this assignment is Vietnam or Korea or I mean, you could take a look at any of these countries in Africa. You could look at the Belgian Congo would be another great example. It'd be really easy to support with evidence. But let's stick to Vietnam for a second as we talk about this. If we start to think about this, one of the things that's going to build anti-imperialist sentiment or allow Ho Chi Minh to really galvanize support around his communist regime is this idea of a Vietnam ruled by the Vietnamese. Vietnam had for a long time been under Chinese imperial power, then it's going to fall under French power. So here we could see what we're talking about on the discussion board with two different eras of imperialism. And Ho Chi Minh really was focused on this idea of building a Vietnam ruled by the Vietnamese, to the point of he's even going to reach out to the Americans at different points in time prior really to his movement galvanizing to see if they might support kind of his movement towards a Vietnam ruled by the Vietnamese. So as you work on this, be thinking about those different things, reaching out if you have different questions, continue to communicate. A lot of you are doing a really good job with that as we work our way through the course. I'm here to help you however I can. And I appreciate the hard work you've put into the class so far. I look forward to the great things you're going to do this week. Good luck.